All right, so I just picked up my friend. We are here for part 2 of this road trip. This time we are headed from Indy to New York City. We're headed to Trader Joe's. Yeah, Trader Joe's on 31st in Manhattan. It's about 700 miles, but you know, definitely headed to Trader Joe's, not somewhere else. So anyways, let's take a look at the trip that we have in front of us. All right, so Trader Joe's in Manhattan. Right here, we've got, looks like 4 charging stops this time, so not too bad. I'm at 72%, and we are going to arrive at our first stop after 100 miles. Not too far, and we'll be there at like 35%, so not a very efficient way to kick this off, but that's okay, because this part of this road trip is to test out equipment and get Pat familiar with electric cars, since he has never driven. Have you even driven an electric car? No, he hasn't even driven an electric car. So this is his first experience, and I'm hoping to convert him, which is not going to happen. But we're going to stop here in, looks like, is that Dayton? Yeah, Dayton, Ohio. So that'll be our first stop. We're already 1,021 into this trip, so we'll be about 1,800 miles by the time we get there. I think we're actually going to stop short of New York City tonight because we need a place to stay, and I'm not so sure about leaving my car in Manhattan with costs and all the other things involved with that. So probably stop somewhere in Pennsylvania for the night. Not because we couldn't make it any further, but if we were to go all the way, it'd be 1 a.m. by the time we got there. So gonna go ahead and get rolling now. This first leg I'll be driving, kind of show Pat the ways of the Tesla, and then we'll give him a chance to get behind the wheel and get familiar with driving this, because he's gonna be my co-pilot on part 3 of this trip, which is from Trader Joe's in New York City to somewhere in LA. So anyways, gonna go ahead and get rolling now. All right, here we are at the first charging stop here. We had a couple stops along the way, nothing major, but it's 2:32, 128 miles since I charged last, 29 kilowatt hours, 229 watt-hour per mile, pretty low, but there was a lot of driving on country roads. So it's supposed to be here for 20 minutes, and it's only a V2. I did happen to get lucky. There are 5 people here already, but there's 1 stall where I can get a dedicated line. So hopefully, since it's only 20 minutes, we'll be okay and be able to charge and get out of here and hit these next chargers that are V3s. So gonna go ahead and get plugged in. Meyer parking lot, there's a Starbucks over there, pretty good spot here in Dayton. All right, so we are done charging. It's doing some really weird stuff here. So Cambridge here, this is a 150, so this is a V2 charger, but Somerset, that's 120 kilowatt. This is like an OG charger, or it's a downgraded V2. But that is not going to work. The 120 or the 150 V2 right back here, I'm possibly okay with. I'm not crazy about that, but since it's not in a big city, maybe we'll be okay. But we need to fix the rest of this, because Somerset is not going to work. 120 kilowatts. So here's a V3 a little bit farther, and this is why you got to pay attention to this stuff. So I'm going to add that and see if it drops off Somerset at least, and how much longer we would be at Cambridge. So yeah, so Somerset's gone now, but now I would have to stay at Cambridge for 35 minutes. So what we're gonna do, since there's really nothing really good between the two, I mean, that's a V2, God, there's a V3, so I can add this as well. We'll add another stop here just to avoid slow charging on a V2. Adds more stops, but it is faster to do this. So now what we've got, Cambridge for 5 minutes, which is kind of silly. Maybe we'll sit here for a few more minutes and get rid of Cambridge altogether if it's just 5 minutes of charging. Yeah, let's try to do that, and we can eliminate Cambridge altogether. All right, so here's what we're gonna do to figure this out. I'm gonna get rid of these other stops that I added in there. We're gonna make the final destination Triadelphia. So if it adds Cambridge in here, I can easily get rid of it, and I can show you how to do that. So I added Cambridge, and I'm gonna remove charging stops so that way I can figure out exactly how much longer I'd have to sit here and charge to make it to Triadelphia, West Virginia. So we would arrive at 4% at current state of charge. We might as well sit here at this V2 for a little bit longer just to make it to that V3. If you have to wait too long, it's not worth it, but I think another 10% we can get going. So let's do that, and we will make a little bit longer of a stretch, 209 or 206 miles, a little over 3 hours, and get to Triadelphia, West Virginia.
Place that everybody's familiar with.
Yeah, I've never been there myself. All right, so now it's Pat's turn to learn how to drive a Tesla. Got all of his settings set up. We're gonna go ahead and unplug. It wants us to charge all the way to 90, which we're not gonna do. So we should arrive at 15%, way more than enough charge needed. But for education purposes, we're gonna take it easy. 6 o'clock, 6:10 p.m. arrival, a little over 3 hours, 206 miles to this next charger. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug now and hit the road. So we've arrived after a couple minor issues with the radar. Had to return that, unfortunately, which is crazy as much as that was. Anyways, we're in Triadelphia, and we're supposed to be here for 20 minutes. This is all messed up, so I'm gonna have to do some manual manipulation here, but we are looking at 258 watt-hour per mile, which is pretty good considering how fast we were going. 212 miles, 55 kilowatt hours consumed. It is a V3 in the back of a Sheets, so we are gonna get plugged in, set up the replacement radar, and figure out the route. I don't know what's going on right now, but we're having a lot of technical issues at the moment. First, the radar went out, which is not good. As much money as we spent on that. The Uniden R8, which is not sponsored, by the way. This thing's very expensive, and it lasted 48 hours or something. So fortunately, I bought it at Best Buy, and I was able to get it swapped over here right across the street from this charger, which that worked out. But we went through the state of Ohio without a radar, which is pretty crazy. If you've ever been through there, that's like Speed Trap Central. Anyways, now I'm looking at the trip, and it's doing weird stuff. So let's look at this. So it wants us to go to Somerset, PA, which is fine because it is a V3, 8 stalls, V3, no problem. But it wants us to charge there for an hour, which makes 0 sense. So I'm not sure what that's all about. If we look at this, Somerset is 100 miles away, and then Hamburg is 243 miles away. So I mean, it'd be 140 miles. I don't know why it wants us to charge here for an hour to make it to that one, which fortunately is a V3 as well. So something's really screwy. I'm gonna reset the screen and see if that kind of prompts it to do its thing. If you don't know how to do that, it's real simple. You just hit both of these for as long as it takes for the screen to go black. And once that happens, you just wait for it to reboot. And with the newer ones like this that have the newer computer on them, it is a lot faster. So it's pretty quick. You can do that while you're driving or while you're parked, doesn't really matter. The car will still function, I promise. So we are wrapping up charging here, an hour and a half, quick little jump over to this next stop, and we'll get moving here in just another minute. We'll leave at 60%, should arrive about 13% at around 8:20. Get moving here in just a few minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, very good. Today, once again, welcome aboard.
right, so we pulled in Service Plaza, not bad. So there's going to be some conveniences inside, which is good. We're supposed to be here for 50 minutes, and we're not going to do that. So this is really kind of messed up. But what I'm going to do right now is get plugged in. I believe we're at a V3. Yeah, we're at a V3. So I'm going to get plugged in and get this started. 102 miles, 29 kilowatt hours, 279 watt hour per mile. So pretty decent efficiency. Temperatures are dropping, which will impact our efficiency going forward. But I have noticed preconditioning more 30-ish miles out, so it's starting to increase already. So I'm gonna go ahead and get plugged in for now, and then I'm gonna mess with all of this here in a little bit, and I'll give you an update of what we did. So it's still doing a bunch of funky stuff. I ended up manually putting in this next charger, but it is doing some funky stuff. It just can't figure it out. So this is supposed to be the Hamburg, Pennsylvania charger, and it wants us to stop here. So what I'm going to do, I've already added the charger as the destination. I'm going to remove charging stops and see where we're at just to get to that charger. So yeah, so if we charge a little bit more, we would be able to get to that charger. So it says enough now, but it's at 3%. That's kind of on the low side. If I was by myself, I would do it, but it is 184 miles. It's actually a pretty big stretch, 3 hours, 11:30, and then we'll probably have to charge there for a bit before getting to Trader Joe's. 20 minutes it looks like, but that is a V3. It wanted us to go to this V2 in Harrisburg for whatever reason instead of just going here. So anyways, that's what we're going to do. We're going to charge for just a little bit more, and then we'll get rolling. So this has been anything but an efficient road trip, so I apologize about that. This is on me. We've had to stop for so many different things, and I'm apparently not in the zone with getting these chargers set up right, so that's on me. This particular part of the trip is just not going to be efficient, but fortunately we don't have anywhere to be at a specific time, so that's going to be okay. We have decided though we're going to pull into Times Square tonight before we go to Trader Joe's. Yeah, so we're going to do that. Basically at this point it's saying 5 hours to finish this trip. The next leg is 3 of those hours, and then it says 2 hours from Hamburg to Times Square, which is 120 miles. So there's plenty of opportunity to make up some time. I don't know how much time we really need to make up though, but we do need to stay up late tonight anyways, just to get acclimated. So Pat is going to take over on this leg, and this is a 3-hour leg. And you got both of the long legs, didn't you? Good for you. Usually though, like jumping charger to charger is so much faster, but we've just had some issues that we had to deal with, so it's been hard to be efficient, and when you're already at that, it is what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug. We're at 79%. It says we'll arrive at 14%. 184 miles, about 3 hours, pulling in at 11:45 p.m. and around 2 a.m. In New York City. So gonna go ahead and unplug now and make this next little jaunt over to Hamburg. Alright, so we pulled in a few minutes ago at 9%, and we're already up to 31. Nice V3 charger. We did that last leg, 195 miles, 50 kilowatt hours consumed, 258 watt hour per mile. The efficiency's been pretty good, all things considered. There's not been too much traffic, but there was quite a bit of construction, so that kept our speeds down a little bit. This is our last stop this evening, so I am going to give it just a little bit extra, so I'm not going to leave when it's ready. But we have another two and a half hours, it says, 129 miles to go before we're in New York City. I'm gonna try to pull into Times Square, see if we can get some cool shots of the car at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I got our Airbnb booked, so we are all set for the evening. So we'll let this thing finish up, and hopefully we've worked out all the bugs. I've had to reset the screen. We've had some issues with it calculating charging and distance, so sometimes that does happen and you just need to reset the screen. It's like kind of like your computer when the memory gets full. You got to reboot or whatever. So that is seems to be working better now. The radar is working for now, so hopefully that continues to be the case. And no other issues charging. We haven't had a single issue with charging as usual, so that's been good. So let this thing finish charging up, give it a little bit of extra juice, and we'll pick this up when we're ready to roll. All right, so we are charged up to 90%, maxed it out. We should arrive at 49%, 47%, somewhere in there, 2 hours and 8 minutes, be there at 2:30 in the morning. And that'll give us plenty of charge to do what we need to do. And we will fill this thing up later tomorrow evening. So go ahead and get unplugged and get to New York City. In New York City for the first time ever, and I gotta say, it is absolutely magical. Let me show you what I mean. These buildings are just enormous, and like the people are super friendly, and they give the right of way. They don't pull out in the middle of the street and then just stop, which is really appreciated. The guy behind me is already getting mad at me, but I don't really know what to do.
Near Times Square at 2 a.m. to watch all the garbage trucks and street sweepers.
I think he's got it this time.
Ambulances.
Oh yeah, I think he's got it this time. Oh yeah, he's got it. It's gonna be fun watching him turn this thing around though.
He's still gotta lower the boom back down.
Do it.
What, you want him to hit the...
I do. I really do.
I don't think that's gonna...
There's no room. How's he gonna, like... I don't know. I'm impressed if he gets out of here without hitting that thing.
Well, I'm pretty sure that goes all the way up against the building.
Yeah, just gonna wedge it into place.
Yeah, that's what he said. Because I'm pretty sure it goes all the way up against the building.
Oh my god, that's funny. All right. Is it safe to cut in front of him?
No, I would not do this.
No? You don't think so?
I mean,
should I do it?
That's up to you, but...
These people... All right, cool.
Yeah.
Now your destination is on the right.
All right. Oh, am I not allowed to go that way?
You have to go right.
Oh, I gotta go right. Oh, wait. No. This way. Okay. We got in so late last night, I forgot to wrap this up, but we got in at, 2:30 a.m., and our final leg, 132 miles, 240 watt-hour per mile, 32 kilowatt hours. Total trip so far, 1,778 miles, 483 kilowatt hours, 271 watt-hour per mile. And I woke up to this, which is pretty awesome. I got a ticket for improper license plates because this vehicle only has a back plate. $65 fine. Yeah, I'm not from New York. Like, I don't have New York plates. I don't understand. Is this like this feels like a grab to me. 7:14 a.m. So basically, this is the end of part 2, and we'll be spending the whole day here in New York City, taking care of some things, checking out some cool sites, and then late tonight, we'll actually be leaving New York for part 3. I do hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, of course, subscribe to the channel as we continue to post content regularly. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Bearded Tesla. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you next time.